Good morning everybody, it's Mike here and I'm back with another video. And today I'm starting this one off with a question. I have to ask you, if you had 1 acre, 1 square acre of empty land, what would you build on it? How would you allocate your funds, your time, your energy, your effort to build something that you want? What would that be? In this video, I'm going to show you guys what I would do, because right behind me is just that. It's 1 square acre, almost cleared. We've been working to clear it, and we're going to be transforming this piece of property behind me into something that I've been dreaming about for a very long time. So let's jump right into this thing. So I just want to give you guys a little overview perimeter of what's going on here, and what you're seeing right now is the acre lot. So I'm standing on a stump. These are the trees that we just cut out. And this is right here is my neighbor's property. He has pretty green, just an empty field, kind of what I'm going for, except mine's gonna be cultivated and farmed on. So anyway, this is the property line right here. This berm that I'm standing on is going to be pushed over and across, graded onto this empty barren land, which I'm then going to begin to cultivate. We had a lot of work done here in the last 2 weeks. Just to give you guys a little show around, this is the exact same spot that we were standing in at the beginning of this video, or on the last clip. Basically, we had that big hill just pulled right over. We had all the millings and gravel pushed up into that hill right there, and then they just dragged all the topsoil right back over the field. And now I have 4 big dump trucks full of composted wood chip and compost organic matter delivered. So that's what we're looking at right here. So to just take a look at the quality of the soil, the topsoil that was pulled back over, it's like a topsoil gravelly blend. It's not necessarily a like a fill dirt, but it isn't exactly topsoil either. So it's got a great structure. It's like a loamy clay. It's not really sandy at all, which is why I'm grateful that there's a ton of the gravel and stone in it to give it great drainage and break it up a little bit. But it definitely needs some organic matter to really become, or give it the kickstart that I'm looking for. And that's why I got these 4 tandems of composted wood chips with manures in it to really help break down and give the soil a jump start. And then I'm going to be building the compost, the soil level and the quality of the soil for years to come. So today what I have to do is spread it and fork it across the field here. So let's get into that. All right, guys, that's the pile process. And now I'm going to rake all this in with the York rakes. All right, so summer came and went. It's now August, so there's a couple months between now and the last clip of this farm behind me. What I did was I just threw some grass seed down after we raked out all of that good composted material, And what I noticed is the grass did okay. It was more of an experimental crop. I just wanted to see, you know, how it would do, what kind of conditions we're doing. Between now and then, I did get a soil test, and it turns out the soil test, we have a really, really low percent of organic matter, which I think we all kind of knew that was coming. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to prepare for the fall and winter, and I want to plow it and turn it under. This field is ultimately going to be a no-till field. I like to grow organically, and this is going to be no-till. Once I plow this field once, get as much organic material deep underneath as I can, I'm leaving it be, guys. I'm going to only be focusing on the top and building above that with wood chips and leaf mold and things like that. So not to go too off in the weeds here, I want to show you some of the details. We'll move right on forward to the next step here, so let's get in there. Here's some of the clover I planted, little establishments and little clusters here and there. Some areas did better than other. We have a mix of different like weeds and grasses. Well, you know, like I said, it's patchy, it wasn't great, and I think a lot of that has to do with the soil quality itself. You could see the dark spots like this. This is where that good organic composted material was in a heavier spot. You can see it's nice and dark. But just right next to it here, this is like that hard pack, you know, topsoil fill material. So what I'm planning to do is get a plow, flip this all over so that that's underneath the ground, and then I'll start to build soil on top of it. So that's the goal. I don't plan to plow all the time. I do love the no-till mentality, the regenerative agriculture mentality, and I'm gonna practice it. I'm gonna try it here. Anyway, that's the update on the field here. Not too much has changed aside some grass, but let's go move on to the next thing. Today is actually a cool day. We're going out to Pennsylvania, which is an hour, 15-minute ride, and we're picking up a plow. Used plow for the back of a tractor. It's just a one-bottom plow, which I'll show you when we get to it, what it is and why it's going to work for me. Just a one-bottom plow. My tractor is a 25 horsepower tractor, and it probably could get away with a two-bottom plow, but they say, and I'm new to this whole farming thing, guys, so bear with me, but they say you should have one plow per 20 to 25 horsepower. So, you know, if you had a 100 horsepower machine, you can get away with 5 bottom plow. So again, I don't know how true that is, so I figured why risk it, and I'm just going with a 1 bottom plow, because as you can see behind me, there's really not that much farm that we have to plow. We're talking, you know, 1 acre, maybe even a little less, because technically this, where the truck is parked, and this parking lot space here is also part of this 1 acre. So between all over here and everything here, we're probably like 0.8 of an acre of actual farmed land and land that we're going to plow. So I think the 1 bottom is going to be fine, but we'll find out together. So let's jump in the truck and let's run over to Pennsylvania to pick this thing up. All right, guys, we're headed out to Pennsylvania to go pick up this plow. It's a nice ride out. It's definitely not a highway I'm used to driving on, especially in Jersey. We're out on some back roads. It's an hour away from where I live, and don't know what to expect, but we'll find out when we get there. I'm excited to see it. There it is. That's the plow. It's on its side, and it looks like it bounced off the pallet. It wasn't too heavy. Me and the guy, we loaded it onto the pallet, but I figured I'd be by myself to take it off, so I threw an empty pallet in the bed of the truck before I went there. So I'm gonna adjust this, get this back on the pallet, and then let's unload it and see how it measures up on the tractor. All right, so I think just by looking at it, I think it's gonna fit good, and we're gonna make it work today. So this is a category 1 attachment, and this tractor can accept category 0 or category 1 attachments. In theory, everything should match up no problem, and we shouldn't have an issue. Now, the guy that I bought it from, he mentioned that I might have to take the sway bar arms off to get it on and then reassemble them. We'll see. Very important when you knock these things out, put the cotter pins back. I've learned too many times by losing these things that, you know, it's important just to slide them back in as soon as you take them out. We're not going to need them for this because the tractor actually came with them when it was new. I'm not sure what these are called, but it'll fit right there. It'll hold the thing in. So the pins were there, which is great. I love having stuff where it should be, you know. Also, a great little feature with the newer tractors is they come with this little box, and it's just perfect to store things like these pins in. So I just dropped these in there just now, and I'll probably forget they're there, but because I got it on video, you guys can help me out when I'm looking for them next time. So the moment of truth here. Let's get this thing as close as we can get it. It's not that heavy. It's probably 120 pounds, so it's heavy to lift, but not to shimmy around, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's see if we can have any luck. It looks like the sway bar doesn't have to come off yet, at least on this side. And that doesn't look good. So basically what I'm seeing here is it covers that pinhole, which is kind of concerning. If you guys can see that there, the pinhole is not going to be visible, this hole. So I might need to improvise here. All right, so I did some brainstorming just now, and what I could do is I noticed this little A-frame here, it's not attached, and there's a little bit of play. Let me see if I can show you guys. There's a little bit of play, sorry for all the movement, right here. So if I push really hard on this piece, I'm able to get just enough clearance to get the pin in. And the reason I know this is because I just did it with this one. So you can see the pin is inside of that. Everything is in place. It just takes some muscle to get it in there. So let's do that. Not easy with one person, but we got it. So the plow fits good, it's all hooked up, it's ready to go if we needed to use it today. But for the meantime, we're just growing grass. I'm gonna keep letting the grass grow. That'll help with the organic matter when it comes to flip and plow all of that in. And we have the plow now, that's one thing checked off. All right, check this out. So this escalated pretty quickly. Went on Facebook Marketplace while I was away on vacation, located these disc harrows, this set of discs here that are in pretty rough shape, but I found them, they were pretty cheap. I got both of these for 200 bucks total. And the guy lived actually right down the street from my house. So it really worked out that I didn't have to travel far for these. Now, again, they're in pretty rough shape. I mean, these discs are real worn out. The guy said this is from the 1950s. I think that's what he said. And it's a pretty beat up piece of equipment. Like he said these sat behind his house for many, many years, and he rarely used them, but everything works, everything moves. There's grease fittings on it. We're gonna kind of do a quick restoration on this thing and bring it back to where it's in usable condition. For 200 bucks, guys, and it fits my tractor, let's go. Unbelievable. It might actually go. Look at this. I just felt it. I can't believe that actually moved. It's incredible. A little WD-40, guys. This thing has probably been on for 50 years. At least. Let's try a little bit more WD-40 now that we got it to budge a little bit. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. 50 years old. They don't make it like they used to. So the next step here is there's grease fittings. I don't know if these grease fittings are still good or not, but I'm gonna try them for sure. It looks like there's a grease fitting on each one of these. I don't know what this is, maybe a bearing or a knuckle or of some sort. And it looks like there's one per set of discs. So for every 2 discs, there's another one of these like knuckles where there's a grease fitting. And I want to grease this up if I can. I don't know if I really need to or if it ever has, but now that it's in my possession, I want to take care of it as best as I can. And I know this is crazy, but at the end of this, I'll probably even end up painting this thing, at least the wear areas, the discs, where I do know they need to be replaced, but I'm certainly not going to replace them. We'll see what they can do. It's taking the grease, guys. Holy cow. Yeah, that grease fitting was just fine. Watch this. Beautiful. Maybe 4 or 5 pumps it took. That's good news. This thing might not be in as bad shape as I thought. Okay, so I think I got it all figured out. So I got this hooked up. This was that main bracket point. These two, I don't think I'm gonna hook these up. So these supposed to go somewhere. There's one on each side. I'm trying to line it up, and it doesn't look like it lines up anywhere. So I'm just not gonna use them. I don't think they're necessary. This is a pretty heavy duty bolt right here. It holds this second piece attached to the first one. And then what I did was I found a shackle, and I fitted that to this middle hole here, which looks like it's gonna work just fine. And then coming over to the tractor, I have the plow hooked up because we haven't done the moldboard plow yet. But looking into this like hookup bar, I got this hooked up to the tractor, which is good with a nice solid pin. And then I don't know if this is gonna work, but I have this pin here hooked up. It's just like a threaded nut. It's a big nut. Goes right into there. I think I'm gonna slide that shackle right over to this and pull it that way. And this is really solid. The only issue I could think of, sorry for all the shaking, but the only issue that I could think happening is if it wants to come up and jump off of this pin, it's just gonna mangle and bend the crap out of this cotter pin here, which really isn't meant to hold that type of weight anyway. But I don't know of any other options or solutions other than going to the hardware store and buying a new threaded rod, a threaded pin that I'm gonna sacrifice the threads, because then I would just cinch it down nice and tight, and just the pulling of the discs is gonna just destroy the threads, and that'll just go into the garbage when I'm done, or it'll just be dedicated for the disc and shackle. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna try this first, because these cotter pins, I could always get a new one, and that saves me a trip to the hardware store. So that's what we're gonna do, and I think that's gonna work. So I just did my first pass with the plow off camera, just really testing it, trying to make sure that it's level and proper. And what I found was there's some giant rocks in the ground that the plow moved, but I don't want to damage the plow. So what my plan today is to go through the entire field with a shale bar and pop out any big rocks or boulders that are just showing their head, just to reduce the chance that my plow will hit a rock head on and bend it or break it. Once we're done plowing the whole field, I'm going to go back again and collect any rocks that were beneath the ground this before I disc, so that the discs don't get damaged and break going over those big boulders. So this is the first time this ground has ever been worked, guys. It's going to be a work in progress. It's going to uproot a lot of stumps and rocks, and we need to take care of that before any damages are caused to the equipment. So all those little piles that you see out there are piles of rocks that look just like this. So basically there was a lot more rock than I anticipated that's under the ground here. And so I walked around and I made piles just like this. I popped them out of the ground with the shale bar, just like we saw before. And I made dozens and dozens of little Kieran piles just like this. And they are everywhere. So I'm not ready to plow yet. I thought I was ready to plow. It looks like we're getting some rain in the forecast here. It's 100% overnight and then like 90% tomorrow all day. So pretty much that puts an end to our plowing efforts, at least this weekend. So the goal now is going to be, while the ground is wet and pliable, I'm going to be coming around with that shale bar and I'm just going to keep on working piles out of the ground. Just like this. Now look at the size of this rock, guys. This is my foot next to this rock. That would have just completely destroyed and bent the plow if we were to hit that. All right, guys, so the day is finally here. There's been no rain for about 4 or 5 days here. This field is finally dry enough to plow, and we're gonna plow and disc the field today. So we got a lot of work cut out for us. Let's get right into it. All right, so we did a couple passes. This is our third or fourth pass, and man, we are running into some problems. So this is like virgin ground here. We're not really, this has never been plowed. A lot of roots, as you guys can see, hanging on to the back of the plow there. Lots of roots we're pulling up, and even more so than the roots, we're grabbing an absolute ton of rocks. So pardon the tractor noise, but as you can see, I'm going, as I go, I come back and I fill the bucket with all these rocks, stones, pavers. Looks like some construction materials here. This ground is just full of crap, but you know, I kind of anticipated that much of it, at least on this first go around. I'm gonna try to pull up as much as I can, and as I'm just standing here looking, I can see that there's some more pavers here, some different types of rock. So I'm gonna take my time, probably do a lot of it off camera and just fill up some bucket loads of stone like this and get it out of here. So yeah, I will check back in shortly, guys. All right, so check this out. I'm plowing along, I'm minding my business, and I hear a thump, and holy cow, there is some serious stone in here, man. This is like, I don't know what the heck this stuff is, but I hit this thing and dislodged it. Thankfully, I didn't break my plow doing so, but holy moly, look at that. That's like a 4-inch piece of slab or something. I don't know what the heck that is, but that's not good. I got this big chunk right here, so this is going to take me longer than I thought. I'm probably not getting to the plowing or the disking today. I'm going to be going real slow, but aside from that, it's coming along pretty good. You guys can see, I think this is my 4th or 5th pass, and it's fluffing it up nice. Leave a comment down below if you've ever plowed up some questionable material out of your field, and let me know what you did with it. I'd love to hear from you. Alrighty guys, that's the end of day one. We did pretty good. My father came and he actually ended up helping me out. It was much easier with 2 guys because I have to pick a lot of these rocks up and it wasn't easy. So he was able to run the plow and I followed behind and threw the rocks in the bucket, and we got a lot of it done. Now we're not completely done yet. Behind me is the patch that we didn't complete, and I think you guys can see, like right here is that first furrow that I cut in, and that's my stopping point. So I have a little bit more to go. That'll be for tomorrow, and we actually have rain coming Saturday. So today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, we got to finish it up, but we got a good chunk of it done today, and boy, was it a lot of work. So hopefully the disking is a little bit quicker because we don't have to pick all these rocks out. We'll just be running around with the tractor, and that'll bring us to the next step, and that's planting our clover, getting our clover seed down on the ground for the fall and then into the winter. So anyway guys, we will check in tomorrow. All right, field is plowed 100%. We are ready to now move on to discs. It's looking good. So just to briefly go over the point of the discs, or why we would disc, is, I don't know if you guys can see all these big clumps and you know, conglomerates of clay and different types of soil. So all of this, the discs should break up and smooth out into nice little 6-inch or 4-inch rows. So that's the goal with the discs, is really just to break up a lot of this big compact stuff. All right, we got the discs all hooked up. All right, so this is doing a really good job. I'm not mad at that. It's not perfect, but it's definitely seedable. I could put some clover seed on that. Just a little modification I just made was I dug this big heavy rock out and I put it on the back. I'm noticing that the back discs are doing most of the work. The front ones they're knocking down the high berms, but that's because my tractor is just a little too high for this. I would have to set this pin lower to sink these a little bit further down, but I'm not gonna mess with that. I took a big heavy rock and I threw it on the back, and we'll see if that helps get a smoother disc. So let's get on there and see. All right, so just to be real brief about the type of clovers that I'm planting is I'm actually doing two types of clover. I'm doing a white clover, which is a perennial, meaning it comes back every single year and it kind of acts as like grass, as a ground cover. And I'm also doing a crimson clover, which is an annual, meaning it dies every year. Think of vegetable plant, tomato plants. It grows, it throws its seed, and it dies. And that's there's a reason I'm doing both. One, I'm trying to get nitrogen back into this soil. That's the key here. And clover is a legume, like a bean plant, meaning it fixes carbon from the air into nitrogen, into its root zone, and then that nitrogen ultimately is integrated into the soil after the plant dies and is deteriorated or digested by the soil. So you're adding nitrogen to your soil, but the only way to get that is if the clover is dead. So the annual clover, the crimson clover that dies, is very nice for doing that on a time cycle. Whereas the white clover will do that process as well, but much slower and not as aggressively or vigorously. So that's why I'm doing both. I want to have ground cover, so the white clover is good for that, and I also want to be cycling nitrogen into my soil, which is the crimson clover. So that's why I'm doing two different types of clover. Hope that makes sense. Leave a comment down below if it doesn't, but let's get seeding. So this thing's pretty cool. It's got a setting. So I'm going to set this to 3 so it throws a good amount of seed here. And you just pull the trigger. And as you can see, it's kind of throwing it. All right, we are all done. We plowed, we pulled all the rocks out, we disked, and we got the clover into the field. Now, the clover was important because as you can see behind me, or maybe you can't, it's raining. It's raining right now, and we knew it was gonna rain last night and into today, and we had to get this field done before the rain came, and we did that. So really happy about that. Now we're ready for the fall to come and the winter. So the clover that we planted will germinate and grow, and it'll cover the ground before those freezing temperatures come into New Jersey here, and we'll have some good ground cover in this field. Come next year, we'll be ready to plant it, and that'll be a whole different story in it and of itself. So for now, this video is done. The field is ready. It's a farm plot. It went from a junkyard to a farm plot, and now we're going to turn it into a food forest. So hit that subscribe button if you guys want to come along this journey with this farm plot behind me. Hit the like button if you don't want to see any more, but you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.